Right. We have a full agenda, so we're gonna start the meeting right away. This is the regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen for July 14th, Bastille Day. As I recall. And two members present. Scott will not be here today, as far as I know. He's out of the country, and we'll start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Of which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Why don't we online? Online, are there any comments from anybody online? That'd be Nancy, Michael, Dave LeMay, and Cosmo. If you'd like to raise your hand. Anybody in the room for public comment? Okay, thank you. All right. Comments, Jane?
No, I don't have any comments this evening.
I'm just gonna comment, like I normally do. The seawall work is progressing really nicely. They are, putting in more rocks and, repointing the wall, putting in more revetment, or I forget what you call that. Very word. And then they're digging on the backside and pouring cement in. Today, they're gonna be going into Gardner's Landing, because Gardner's Landing, while the wall is not as bad, there are points of it where it is coming through the wall and coming on the other side of the sidewalk there. So they're gonna be digging test pits there as to where they're going to be putting in concrete. They're making good progress. I don't know that they'll be there much longer than another 2 to 3 weeks. They were really great so far to work with, and they're on point. And I want to thank, there are several volunteers, Bob Murphy from the Harbor Management Commission, Lou Vinciguerra from Harbor Management, Rich Peters, and anybody else on that? Those guys, all three are engineers, and they really have helped with this. And they're checking on the contractor. I've been down several times. I know Bob and Lou will be down there this morning to work with the contractor a little bit. We have Charles Brown from GNCB as our consulting engineer on this project, not Jeff Jacobson, because Charles Brown is a structural engineer and helped us with the design of the seawall. And he is doing some construction administration too, but we are, because it's a state grant and we have to comply with CHRO and certified payrolls, Jeff Jacobson is handling that part of it. Because that's not something we are internally qualified to do. So that project is moving along really well. The library grant, as Heather knows, Amanda, I'm sorry. The library grant, we struggled a little bit, getting some documents approved from the State Library Board. We thought we could use the architect that had brought us to concept. But as it turns out, we have to do an RFP, RFQ for architects, which we are in the process of doing. Those documents are complete and approved by CHRO and the State Library Board, and they will go up on the town website and the DAS website this week. And those dates will be set. We are appointing a committee today for the library to take us through architect all the way through design, final design, and then a building committee. So that was dealing with the library board last week. I almost threw my computer onto the town green a few times, but we made it through it and everything's approved. And Ferry Road, the soccer field over there, that went out to bid. We had 6 bidders. Thankfully, the low bidder, it works with Jeff Jacobson a lot. And Jeff Jacobson likes that as a contractor. I forget the name. I think it's Hubert Company. They've done a lot of work with them. They say they're a very reputable, good contractor, and their bid was basically low enough to get most everything done at Ferry Road. With the monies we've set aside, we might be like 30 grand short, no big deal. So, I believe we are going to be awarding that contract relatively soon. And, hopefully construction can start and finish this fall so that grass can grow. Be planted, grow, and then we'll have a good season next year. The last thing I want to comment on is what happened over the weekend with the water company. So I got a call at 4:30 from Jerry McDermott from Connecticut Water Company. I've known Jerry for many years. On Friday afternoon, about 4:30, and he said, "I'm sorry to tell you what I'm about to tell you. But a trace of E. coli was found in one sample. And he suspected right from the beginning that it was localized and not systemic. But they couldn't prove it until the next day. And because it's E. coli, the water system, which has now been connected through Bochum Road, the water system basically had to have a boil water notice from, I think it went from Chester, Deep River, Old Saybrook, Essex, Westbrook, Clinton, Madison, Guilford. All those places. I don't know. I can only imagine the economic damage that occurred. I don't know if Saybrook Point was able to hold, I assume they had weddings planned. Water's Edge can do 5 weddings. They're bigger. I don't know. I was gonna talk to John Hall in Westbrook about that. So on Saturday, I was getting some calls, from restaurant owners, and I won't name the person, but one of the restaurant owners called me up and said to me, and I told him that I think it was going to be resolved at 4:30 Saturday afternoon because they knew it was localized and they thought the problem would be fixed. What he was concerned about was the reopen order. The reopen order, once you have E. coli, is you need to clean not only your kitchen, but you need to clean the pipes. He said, that's gonna cost me another day of labor in addition to whatever other costs. This is a restaurant owner who runs a tight ship. He was not trying to shirk his responsibility to the public, but he knew some of the information I knew at that point. And he informed me that he was getting calls from other restaurant owners very concerned about the reopen order, if in fact it was localized and not systemic. I told him I had a 2:30 conference call on Saturday with the state, regional health directors, Connecticut Water, and a few other folks. And I thanked him for telling me that, because that's really important information. I don't know that.
Right.
And so I got on the call and there was some discussion about what happened. My response was, what happened, happened. I want to talk about reopening. And I brought up the point that this restaurant owner said, and I said, truly, if this is found to be a localized issue and not systemic, then these restaurants should not be subject to this reopen order. That is a DPH regulation. So thankfully, there was a lot of discussion, and the reopen order just simply said, run your restaurant faucets for 5 minutes with cold water. So he thanked me, but really, without him, that doesn't happen. So I think that was very useful. So good communication. I know I briefly communicated with you. And I guess it could have been worse, but a Saturday in the summer is never good for all these businesses. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that, knowing that people would be listening. And all right.
And, you know, when I'd like to just comment, you know, when we send out our communication, it is helpful to, you know, to let the public know, because I had several people asking me, well, how do I know what's in my pipes is clear and, explain that it probably, there was never a danger in retrospect, but had there been, we would have indicated what people needed to do.
I didn't want to, I mean, I didn't want to say too much publicly, and the communications from the Connecticut Water Company were as good as anything I'm gonna put out. I don't know that we could have put out more than that. Do you think we could have? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, just to clarify,
Yeah,
people with wells don't have a thing to worry about.
Yeah.
That, they should know that, but
they have
Yeah.
other issues, but
they have different issues
Yeah.
and every house is a little bit different.
Right.
But just to reassure people that it is safe to drink, they don't have to run their tap water for any amount of time.
I thought the Connecticut Water Company was pretty clear on that,
Yeah.
but. I am trying to clean them up
Okay,
as much as possible. So I'll make a motion to approve them.
second,
Do you have any comments
No.
or corrections? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, we are on to the municipal brand presentation. We'll turn it over to Jennifer and Maria.
any opening remarks?
Well, thank you all for coming today. I know I invited some of you. We've been working on this project for several months and we're really excited to reveal it. So I'll turn it over to Maria.
Hi. So good morning, everyone. Let me just stand up just for a minute and I'll sit back down again. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. My name is Maria Miranda and I'm from a brand management company and fan of Old Saybrook called Miranda Creative. We've been part of your life for about the past 3 years and it's been an amazing experience. I think we joined you, what was it, maybe about 8 weeks before the first Celebrate Saybrook event? Yeah, if you put us trial by fire, and we had a great time. So today we're here to talk about a new municipal brand. And I see some of our brand committee members here. Nice to see you all. I'm gonna go through a brief presentation. There are poster boards behind me. Can I hear a woo from the audience? Woo. Right. There are poster boards behind me. We're gonna be doing an official reveal. Okay. Well, a second official reveal. You might have gotten a little hint about the brand if you were at the drone show the other night. Right? I've been doing this work for 40 years and that was my first drone brand reveal. Have another ooh? Ooh. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna get started. We're gonna go through the story. You ready? Okay, all right. So first we have to do the technology here. Being able to share my screen, and I love the owl. It shows my hair in all circumferences. And hello to everybody online. We're seeing it up on screen. Hang on, let's see. I kind of want to make it a little bit, nope, that's what we're gonna get because we're in the middle of the meeting. Okay, everybody see it okay, everybody? Okay, so here we go. All right. Just bear with me for a minute, everyone. I appreciate your patience. All right. So you're doing that over there? Okay. All right, we're gonna begin with gratitude. For those of you who are on the brand committee, you might recognize this photo. This was taken, we were down at Swell. We were having great protein shakes and bowls. And we were really beginning our journey for talking about creating the brand. Now, the individuals you are seeing here include Lamar and Brett from the Kate, Andrea, here you are in the back of the house, Greg, Cameron, Jennifer, and Erica. And you were all with us for this process and a number of conversations. But not only are these dedicated volunteers, they're also reflective of the voice of your community. Right? Someone who carried our history forward, someone from Main Street, someone from the town itself. Because when you're working on a brand, I want you to think a little bit like a Celtic circle. You want to think about the middle of it should be the core community members involved in creating the brand. And then it moves out to the greater community from there. So if you begin with it being a collaborative process of voices from the community, you are more likely to be more successful. That makes sense, everyone? Okay. All right, so let's settle in just for a moment, really brief. What is a municipal brand? So I'm going to begin with this slide right here. And currently you have a town logo. Everyone's familiar with it. Jennifer was on your bag as you were walking in this morning. I put a little asterisk by it. Does everybody know where your town logo came from?
Yeah.
It's actually a logo and a brand from Yale, the College of Old Saybrook at Yale, that was then adopted by the town to use. And history goes back further than that from where the brand from that comes from. So I put the asterisk by that as your town logo, which actually is Yale's logo that they've been generously sharing with you all this time. So it's time for us to have our own, right, everybody? Yeah, we love Yale, but we need our own, okay? And your marketing branding, you're familiar with the Saybrook brand that's been going on very successfully for messaging. And then there's the municipal brand, which is what we're here to talk about. So in a nutshell, a marketing brand communicates what the town offers, and it can therefore be evolving in time. A municipal brand defines who the town is. They must work and complement each other, but they each have different purposes. A little bit deeper for you. A town brand, such as the Saybrook, speaks to the how and the what. It promotes tourism, events, economic development. It speaks to visitors, investors, and audiences outside of town. Nothing makes me happier than at Celebrate Saybrook Day as I watch people having a Luna yogurt and looking at the houses and property for sale. You guys ever see that? Right? I've been one of those people looking for a place to live in Old Saybrook. Marnie can't wait to have me as a neighbor. Okay. It changes though with marketing trends and priorities. Messaging about marketing the community will change and will evolve. Your municipal brand, however, should speak to the who and the why. It's the core character and values of a community, which is why we began with a community of people who are representing you and working on this process. Any questions so far? Am I doing okay? Have I had enough Starbucks? Okay, all right, there we go. So what's our current status, right? You can see what we've got going on for a range of town logos and brands, right? I see our police department here, right?
Fire department is here also.
Thank you, fire department. Okay. So we have a range of town logos and brands going on. And we also have a varied use of our current logo in a variety of locations, right? So our goal was to sort of organize what we're doing, look at what we've been referencing, right? And we asked the committee to help us determine what to focus on when it came to the brand. Okay. You guys remember doing this chart together? Okay. Overwhelmingly, we wanted to make sure that we reference our elements of what made us our unique community. Lighthouse got many votes. Where the river meets the sound, the longevity of the organization, something that welcome from Main Street, tells a story, the balance between the history and moving forward. All of these things had to be incorporated into the brand. Right? Right about now, you're saying no challenge, right? But we got it done. Okay. We tested, embedded it, and we're ready. So what do I mean by tested? We ran focus groups. We got feedback. We spent an inordinate amount of time discussing exactly what the light would look like coming from your lighthouse. We did all of those things and we are ready. You guys ready to see it? Ready? Yes. The town of Old Saybrook. So exciting. So exciting. So I'm going to walk you through all of the things going on here. We're going to start with this side. Clearly, it's the Saybrook Greatwater Lighthouse. But also on this side, we have Long Island Sound represented by the native cord grass. The sound itself is represented by the lighter blue wave because the sound, right? And the year of establishment is embedded in through here. On the other side, we have the glint from the lens. We talked about this, right? Coming to the exact shape. You still like it, Carl? Yep, okay, right? The Connecticut River with the cattail and the Connecticut River with the deep blue ray, right? Right, isn't that beautiful where the sound meets the river? The two representations of the natural environments, your iconic lighthouse, everything is coming together really, really well. Okay. How does it look in application? Here it is against a dark background environment. And here it is against a light background environment. So want to see that again? We call this being in reverse and in positive. All right, let's talk about some fun application looks, okay? So how might it look for updating the sign over by Mystic Market? How might it look on your letterhead? Welcome and greetings signs, isn't that beautiful? On Main Street. And how might it look on merch? Hats, I suspect that Carl wants to know where his hat is already, and bags, etc. So we're looking at having relationships with regional merchants within our community to be able to have merchandise available for people who want to carry the brand forward. How you feeling, everybody? Awesome. It's awesome, right? Okay. Da, 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 da. You know, I knew we were heading in the right direction where you asked if the new brand could be on, I think it's 6 vehicles coming in.
Yep.
Yep. So I'm pretty excited about that. How do you feel?
There's a meeting tomorrow.
Okay. You better be okay with it.
Gotta be on it.
Yeah, you. Okay. Also, how might it look in digital advertising? Right, we just had some great news break about being the town being featured in Travel and Leisure magazine. You know, when do we leverage things like that, and how do we bring our brand forward and have it out within the community? Okay. And how will it look in motion? So let's see. Do you think I'm going to have sound over there if I play this, or does that have to come from my computer?
Give it a shot.
Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna put my sound on. I'm concerned it's gonna give me an echo, but let's see what happens.
Want to turn your sound.
Isn't that great? Great. I'm turn my sound on. So that gives us a sense of how it might look in motion. Let's go back to the presentation, which is right here. Okay. All right, so I want to give you a solid word of appreciation from the brand team and recognize my colleagues. There's Marnie back there, who's a director of brand management, who guided us from a passion of a longstanding resident. Okay, and my creative director, Tomas, is here as well. And if you've ever met Alex, who was the designer involved in the process, my colleagues gave their all to make this moment happen for you and could not be prouder. And I'm going to ask if you have any questions. There it is in the sky.
So, our understanding from our town clerk, who's in the room, is that it needs to have the word seal in there. Now, the current, we will do that. We will do that for the town clerk.
Right,
Does the current one have that though?
no, because that only went into effect in 2024, and we just continue to use the old seal because people want a seal on their documents.
Yeah,
And we'll make a seal version. I'm excited about
we're
that.
gonna make a seal version. I mean, I think you know that, but
I'm happy.
yeah.
No, we're excited about that. It's designed to look like a woodcut.
I can't hear
Sorry,
you.
no, no worries. The original logo, the design, let me go back a little bit. Back to here. Hold on. just a second. The design has a woodcut feel to it. So it's gonna look really great as a notary seal and formal seal. It's gonna reproduce very well.
Yeah, it will be a town seal, as long as I can get it made up on my little
Notary,
disc, I'll be happy.
notary press, absolutely. Hand raise, absolutely.
Hi, I'm Erin, the tax collector. I love it. I love the look of it. Are all of the departments, are we gonna get some kind of format if we're ordering stationery or doing anything that we can download?
All of those things, yep.
Purposes?
So you're going to get, what you can expect is the next steps, what's called brand standards and downloadable files for your usage. And they're going to be locked up. Meaning that, you know, the fonts won't be changing every time somebody opens it, the colors will be consistent. So we've had this experience in about 6 other municipalities, and you'll have a kit you need, and it'll be downloadable from a drive that you can access from here and from anywhere. But you could be on the go and someone may be asking you for a logo, you need to be able to send it to them. Right? You don't need to be emailing Jennifer saying, Jennifer, can you send me a logo? Right? Although you would send it every time. Other questions? Jennifer, any more you want to share?
I just want to thank our volunteers, staff who are here, our committee, Andrea and Ethan are here. And I want to thank Tomas and Maria and Marnie and Alex, who's not here, because it was actually a fun process. I mean, you're trying to do something that's really important and significant to a lot of people, but to just get in the room and talk about it and make it, and I won't even tell you how long of a discussion we had about whether or not that grass looked like a Fred Mighty or not before we decided on that version, because we didn't want it to look like a Fred Mighty. But anyway, a lot of thought and care went into it, and I hope it will serve the town well for a long time.
We're very excited for you and really proud of the results. It was a great collaborative process. You have an outstanding team in all ways.
So, when you go, it never occurred to me, before Jennifer started this discussion. Like, oh, that says, that's Old Saybrook to me, but it's the former seal, but it's only Old Saybrook to those who know it. And those are generally within the community. When you go to any other community, their seal says their town, and their brand says their town, everywhere. And it never occurred to me that ours did not. And then one other anecdote is Jennifer, you were at Yale for your nephew's graduation. And you saw the seal on one of the Yale buildings or something.
No, they're carrying the flag graduation and it had our town seal on it. And I'm trying to take a picture like a crazy person.
It's the College of Old
Yeah.
Saybrook at Yale,
Yeah.
right?
Which is like,
Not
I
relevant,
mean, nice, but, you know.
yeah, not relevant anymore.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you were to say, show that seal to anybody outside of Old Saybrook, most people would have no idea where it's from. And, so, yeah, it's been great and, I love it and, look forward to implementing it.
I have a question. You mentioned, merch, you know, maybe local merchants want to carry hats or shirts or whatever. Do they have access to the logo and they can use it, or do we sell them the merch to sell?
That's a really good question. So at the moment, we're looking at a model. What we want is we want to make it possible for traffic to be driven. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Traffic to be driven into our local merchants and have a relationship with them so that they have an official version that they promote. What I truly suspect the long term is going to be some type of e-commerce environment where people can find the various ways. I mean, if you want a onesie for a baby, for someone who, you know, for an Old Saybrook resident, you want to be able to figure out how to do that. And the town's probably not going to be in a position to do their own e-commerce environment. What a great way to work with local merchants in that way. Right? Like, I would love for even the florist that is a partner for you to have like little stem elements with a brand on it that they can then, when they deliver flowers, the Old Saybrook area. So lots of ways for us to partner with merchants.
It might be like a licensing agreement and just to make sure that we control that it looks the way ours is all the time, like people can't alter it.
I want continuity. I think that anything that gets applied to that the town should approve before it goes into production would be an example, which would make sense. We don't want the colors to change or the lettering to change because that particular embroidery person only had time to do it, right?
And we'll have the brand standards guide to you guys shortly, and then, you know, as we do new things in town or certain things will just be changed over, but it'll be a process. You know, we're not gonna scrap everything we have in town that's functional and beautiful, just as we have to do.
One step at a time. We got through here.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else? Yeah, George?
So we get a new flag as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the idea is to transition out of what we're currently at. Okay with that? Mr. Chairman,
I'm gonna step out, right?
oh yeah,
Yep.
great, thank you, everybody. That was just a presentation, we'll move on. Okay. Thank you.
No worries, I forgot. Guys, I forgot the poster books. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. You have to do the woo, ready? Yeah, here we go. Awesome.
We're playing along.
Yeah.
Yeah, those should stay up for a while there.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come in the hallways.
Yeah, right.
Actually, Park and Rec probably gets more traffic. Maybe move it around, the traveling district.
During July, we got a lot of traffic.
Yeah, right, with tax bills, yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's a great idea, put them in the hall for a little bit, move them around, yeah, library. Sure. Right, thank you, Maria and Jennifer, and the Miranda team. So. Next item is discussion and possible action to approve the modification of the fire department pension plan document. We have JT Dunn here, who former chief of fire, and what's your current role over there?
Past chief.
How about emeritus? So
Yeah.
emeritus everything. So, we have a memo in front of us, but if you want to talk about it a little bit.
The fire department met to review our bylaws. We do that every 5 years. And in the bylaw revision, they opted to add a minimum call requirement to earn a year of service. The year of service then translates to a pension year. So a member needs to make 150 points. That's earned through various tasks throughout the year. Different tasks are assigned different point value within the pension plan. And so in addition to those numbers, you still need to make 150 points, but you need to make 30 incident responses. And if you don't make the 30 incident responses, you don't get your year of service. It affects 3 to 5 people per year. The goal is to make sure that people are getting out there 24 hours a day to respond to calls. There are times during a year where, say, a firefighter might take their minimum required training when they join, like firefighter 1, firefighter 2, EMT. That could be 300 hours of school to finish or more. And if somebody did not make their call requirement but did make their point requirement, they can apply to the chief in writing by December 1st for a waiver. But he's only doing that if the circumstances are significant. So like you have rotator cuff surgery, but if you don't make your points, the calls don't matter. So if you don't make it, you don't make it. So the fact that the chief would be able to provide a waiver in extenuating circumstances is also part of the plan change.
Okay, before any questions, I'm gonna put a motion on the table to approve the modification to the fire department plan document as described and as in the memo.
And I'll second that.
Okay, Jim, I have no questions. I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Jane, do you have any?
No, I think, in reading this, that, it's great to know that there's a requirement of serving, not just being, on the board. So thank you for doing that.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you. I'll send the finalized plan.
Okay, thanks, JT.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action to approve a resolution to recommend an appropriation of $11,300,000 for the Catherine Hepburn Cultural Arts Center addition and renovation, and a bond authorization in an amount not to exceed $6,300,000 to finance said appropriation, with the balance funded by grants and capital campaign funds. So before we get into this, I'm just gonna put a motion down and I'll ask for a second. Second?
Second?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Wayne and Robin, you wanna just talk about how we got to these numbers? Because
Yeah,
I know the numbers have moved a little bit.
yeah, we've been working on this project for at least 2.5 years.
Yeah.
We've hired Saybrook architects to do the architecture work. We have a project management company. We have a pre-development cost estimating company. We have a number of professionals on the design and on the cost estimating of this project, in addition to all the time we spend working on it. One of our first, when we finally got to the point of a design, the cost was too high. We were looking at like a $12 million total project cost, which we really worked hard to try to reduce that and get the cost down and still keep the functionality that we need with it. We were able to do that and get it to this 11.3 number that you see today. We feel pretty good about it. We have contingency in that number as well. And the capital campaign is going pretty well. So we're pretty confident that, with a successful bond, that the project could go ahead.
Okay, so. I have gone over a little bit of the timeline, assuming it moves beyond today. I've gone over a little bit of the timeline. We have the chairman of the Board of Finance here, as everybody knows, and the idea would be to have the Board of Finance consider both bond authorizations. We'll talk about DPW next. At some point, late July or early to mid-August. If it's late July, that's fine. If it's early August, that would be fine too, and the Board of Selectmen would then meet on its normal meeting whatever, assuming it is approved at the Board of Selectmen level, the Board of Finance level, the Board of Selectmen, whichever, if both are approved, one, I assume both, but the Board of Selectmen would then recommend it to town meeting on September 9th. And then a referendum on September 29th. That's kind of the schedule right now. I've cleared the high school for a noon 8 p.m. referendum on September 29th. If the Board of Finance takes action on assuming, I'm going to continue to assume both of these questions. If they do that on the latter meeting, the August 18th meeting, the Board of Selectmen will probably meet in a special meeting very shortly thereafter to notice the town meeting and referendum, because we won't be able to wait. I don't want to wait until late August for a regular, I want people to have time to consider everything. So that will be determined by the Board of Finance on July 28th. Or either August 4th or August 18th. I'm assuming the Board of Finance will want 2 meetings to consider this. However, the Board of Finance handles it is fine with the Board of Selectmen, obviously. Whether you do it in 1 meeting, 2 meetings, I suppose even 3 meetings. So that's the idea. In terms of the debt service model, we were running a $10 million number. This is a little bit larger than that, 11.5. It's a number that pretty comfortably fits into the town's debt service model without spiking the debt. We have significant debt coming off over the next few years. The idea would be to capitalize interest maybe for a year or 2 and then commence with our payments. We are, in my recommendations, partly in my recommendation for this year's surplus, it will be to put some additional funding into the debt service long-term reserve account. So that if there is any sort of a spike in year 1 or 2 of debt service, whenever that may be, whether it's 28, 29, 30, it will be easily handled in the model. And then debt will continue where it is today, or below that. So that's the concept as we go out over the next 20 years. We can do this and it won't have a, major impact on the taxpayers. I mean, if you don't do it, of course, that money is in theory saved, but a frequent model in bonding for municipalities is to keep level debt service. Because there's always projects. I mean, a lot of towns don't let their debt come down at all. When debt falls off, they put more debt on and they keep it level debt, whether it's roads, buildings. Just, there could be $1 million project, $10 million project. That is not an uncommon model. So that is something that we're, in terms of keeping our debt service level, that's kind of what we're looking at. So I've worked with Wayne and Robin and Brett and Cosmo, who's on right now, over the last at least a year, since we've been meeting pretty regularly. I've given my input on it a little bit, And here we are. At this point, recommending the resolution. We've engaged Shipman and Goodwin as bond counsel, Speaker of the House, Matt Ritter. I've been dealing with him more recently. And Danielle Braun up there, but Matt Ritter actually did the resolutions. And they've been great to work with. Our town council will of course be involved. Mark Chapman will be involved. He's our financial advisor. Leanne will stay involved in this debt issuance, even though our new finance director is probably the person who knows debt issuance better than anyone else in the state of Connecticut, because that's what she did for the last 15 years. Just a comment on our incoming finance director. When I was talking to Matt Ritter, he goes, I heard Sarah Sanders is gonna be working for the town. I'm like, yep. He goes, and he's not the first one to say this. How did you get her? Which is like kind of nice. So, he's like, it's a pretty small world and she's a big hitter in that world. So, between Leanne and Sarah, they'll put this together and help us through it. So that's what I have on this. The Board of Selectmen, by voting on this, is recommending it to the Board of Finance. And then it's in the Board of Finance's hands. It can go there and they can do with it what they want. They're the appropriations board. So I'll turn it over to you, Jane.
No, great. I do think there's quite a few people in town that have an understanding, whether it's, business owners and that saw the presentation. I think all of our board, and commission, members were invited to the kickoff that they did or presentation that they did. So I think the word of mouth has gotten out there about, to help, build the excitement about what an asset this can be to the community. So, to watch it move forward, to a referendum at the end of September. I think that's a good amount of time to get a lot of questions answered and, see, let everybody be able to weigh in and vote on the
Yeah.
29th,
Um,
if that's what we're doing.
and this is not directed at you. We did want to keep it out of election season a little bit. And that's why we're targeting September.
One thing,
Yeah.
we went to ARB last night and got approval from ARB.
Okay, and when do you go to zoning?
It's probably in July or August, early August.
Okay.
I mean, it's coming up. We have previews, we have things coming up.
But that would be your last board to go to.
Yes, that's the last approval we need.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion, comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, that is approved and off to the Board of Finance. We'll move on to the next item, which is discussion and possible action to approve a resolution to recommend an appropriation of $6,200,000 for the reconstruction of the DPW garage and a bond authorization in an amount not to exceed $5,200,000 to finance that appropriation, with the balance funded by capital funds previously designated towards this project by the town. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So, last year with surplus funds, partly on the recommendation, not specifically to this project of the chairman of the Board of Finance, we put a larger amount of money down towards a project, and this was the project. We put $1.5 million. What we've used that money for so far is architect, at point one, engaging Greg Nucci. And those funds, using some of those funds will take us right through final documents and construction administration, right to the completion of the project. I think the total fee is about $250,000 for those folks. There will be incidentals to this project that are not included in this, which are furniture, a security system. But with the money, that's why I've only put $1 million off the 6.2, because I figure some of those additional funds will be used for some of those incidentals that Greg has identified. In addition to that, there's an 8% contingency in this number, just so everybody knows. And, so that should be appropriate for a project like this. What is the contingency that
10.
you're carrying 10? Yeah, we're carrying 8. This is obviously a lot of garage space. I know members of the Board of Finance have been out to the DPW garage. George, did you make your visit? Yeah. And I know the chief has been there and both chiefs have probably been there and it needs to be
Why
done.
it hasn't blown over in hurricane. I
Yeah,
think.
it's really inappropriate for a group of people to work in.
And the assets that the town owns that we store there.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that it's on an aquifer and those assets should be undercover so that whatever's on them or whatever's in them doesn't leak into the ground. So that is actually something that we've been working on at the transfer station and certainly with our equipment, that should be the case. So this accomplishes that. It also gets rid of the dog pound in Old Saybrook, and we are assuming this is approved, assuming construction starts, we will be entering into a regional operation with Clinton. I know Essex is also going to be building a dog shelter, and whether at some point or another, we loop into that or not, I don't know, but they haven't built it yet. Norm has his own issues, in terms of where to put it, along with having a transfer station there. So, this is a project that's a little bit near and dear to my heart because we have such a good crew and quite frankly, I think might help with recruitment a little bit, have a better place to work. Because it's not a very pleasant place and the design gives them a conference room, it gives them lockers, it gives them showers, it gives them better bathrooms, it gives them a kitchen. It just gives them a workplace to gather. They take a lot of classes, so the conference room will come in very handy. They do a lot of training, so I'm looking forward to this project being approved, I hope. And I think the town will support it, so. The referendum that takes place on September 9 will be 2 questions, one to approve, one will ask, should we approve the Cape project? One will ask, should we approve the DPW project? And
those are completely independent of each other, so one might pass, the other one wouldn't, and
2 questions.
don't affect each other at all.
That's correct, just like we do with the Board of Ed and the town.
Well, but
on the
no,
budget.
because if either
one
one
passes, yeah, no, that's
votes down, then
Yeah, that's true.
both.
No,
fail. That's not the way
this
it
is
works.
different.
Yeah. So, it says in here reconstruction, it sounds like is it, how much of the existing structure is gonna be gutted? That's my
A
question.
lot of it.
Okay,
So. Other than the cement block that is currently there, which is the walls of where they store equipment.
Mhm.
The entirety of the other side of the building gets torn down. Dog pound office, that all gets torn down. So it really is a reconstruction. In addition to the cement block will be insulated. And a new roof put on, so it's mostly a reconstruction, it's not a renovation.
and I'm sure there's a plan in place that as how the evolution of it, we know what they're
Yeah,
gonna do
that's
in between and how
Gonna be
that's.
something that we're gonna have to figure out
Okay.
pretty well, but,
Yeah.
You know what, yeah, so, in terms of the sequence of events and how that will go, that. I don't know, I don't know if they'll focus on the conference rooms and the offices, I would think they would focus on the garage project.
Yeah.
Which should go relatively quickly, I would think, but nothing goes quickly, so,
Is there do you have a timeline at all on this
I
project?
don't, they have to be approved first,
Yeah.
and then. Once they're approved, they'll be bid and, I can't imagine construction could start this year, but let's be hopeful. That may not be true so much with the Cape because they're raising other capital funds, so if it's approved there. They may be able to line something up a little bit more quickly.
Yeah, I see these as very different timeframes. You know, very different projects.
They'll both,
But I was
I'll
curious
bet
about-
they'll both be completed around the same time though.
Really?
It'll take probably,
Really?
yeah,
Interesting, okay,
the entirety of 2027, I would imagine, a good part of it. All right,
all right,
moved and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
All right, thank you, that passes also. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna, skip E for a minute, because there's a document I thought I printed and apparently I didn't. But let's just move on, before we take a brief recess so I can go print that document. So, item number F, if you don't mind, we can move on to item F, Jane, is that okay with you? Yep. Discussion and possible action to establish a landscape architecture selection committee and to choose a landscape architect for the redevelopment of Saybrook Point. Nancy Ganna, Rob Lemire, Star Rupert, Michael Bender, Nick Prevost. And then that's a 5-member committee, and then Ray, Jennifer, and I will, sit in as, we need to and as we're able to pick the landscape architect. I've told everybody, Jane knows this already, we did a non-mandatory walkthrough with landscape architects. We had 20 groups sign in. One of the landscape architecture companies is a company I know the principals of it. And I was walking back to my car with this gentleman, and he said to me, you have 3 of the top North American landscape architecture firms here and 1 international firm. And for a project this size, it's a little bit interesting. That doesn't mean we're selecting any of them. I think it's gonna be a very difficult choice though, when we get these in on July 22nd for this committee. I don't know if all 20 will submit, you know, they may not. But people are interested in this project, and in my surplus recommendation, I'm going to recommend that we put aside at least $750,000, maybe $1 million of surplus towards this project. I anticipate the landscape architect professional, I'm guessing, $1,250,000, you know, for design. And that will also, what I want is some working capital. I think I told this to you, some working capital, assuming we have a design in 9 months or so. Something that we can get some low hanging fruit done if we apply for additional grants to get some other funds while we're working. So really keep this project moving is the idea. So, with that in mind, this is just to establish the selection committee. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Do you have any comments on the makeup or?
No, I think it's fantastic. I've, you know, worked with all of these folks and excited.
I didn't want to make it too big. It's hard to get a lot of people together. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And then item G is to discuss and act possibly to establish an active public library building renovation committee. Nancy Walsh, Mike Cameron, Marianne Iadarola, Nancy Prescott from the Friends. The first 3 were all trustees. Nancy Prescott from the Friends, Emily Grochowski, who's local resident who happens to be an architect, Rebecca Grabner, whose staff, Amanda Brower staff, and ex officio will be Tom McWicky and myself. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Amanda, do you want to comment on that at all, or?
No, they're all excited to get started and
Yeah,
it's a good group.
we obviously asked, and these people were excited to start. I'm excited to start because it's been a road to get here with the library. I mean, we got the grant 2.5 years ago anyway.
Yep.
Well.
Yep.
Just, it's amazing. It takes time.
But we raised the funds, we have, you know, a lot of support from the community, so we're excited.
Yeah, so. I don't know if I'll make, I don't think I made. Did I make the motion?
You made the motion and.
Okay, and you said,
Okay,
I'll make
let's
a
just do
motion.
it again.
Yeah. I'll make a
Second.
motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And then let's just knock off the last one, discussion possible action to approve the recommendation of the building official to refund a permit fee of $450 to the owner of 29 Edmund Street. That's usually a solar project that doesn't happen, so
Second.
all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Could you be patient with me? I just want to get some information.
Okay, so busy.
All right.
Alright.
To that meetings.
Yeah. Yeah, and then another one tonight, so.
Exactly.
Two things in the middle.
Just want to see it. It's really
That's there we go.
I'm glad she made that comment about the Phragmites, because I did go through my mind, so I need to make sure people know.
Yeah, certainly, it's a big deal here.
Yeah,
They used to
Yeah.
burn them.
Is that what?
Yeah, they come in, you burn lawns and you burn the marsh, like every year they come and just burn it down.
Hi,
how are you? Great to see you.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
I know.
How are you?
I
Oh, gosh.
didn't get to check in after your party, so I'll have to catch you after the meeting.
Yeah.
Did you make a copy for me?
I'm sorry?
Make a copy for me?
This is really not a.
It's not done yet.
Well,
We only have the revenue side done.
oh,
Because
in
we're still-
terms for
yeah,
the
to
surplus.
figure out the
Yeah,
surplus,
but I
yeah.
can still weigh in on some.
Some things, yeah. How you doing, Jake?
Good, how are you?
Good, did they pass your,
They did,
presentation?
yeah,
Good.
I'll send over the original scene and send it to the actuarial,
Oh,
you know,
good,
the final versions.
excellent. Chief, how are you? Good. I saw your cars out in the parking lot.
Yeah, it looked good.
Send it
Yeah.
for,
Yeah, I had to fight for that.
Yeah, that's right.
They didn't, GM didn't want to give it to us.
What didn't they want to give to you?
That color blue, they wanted us to change to black.
I thought it looked a little different. Is that what our other fleet
Their
looks
ours
like?
are a dark blue, almost a black.
Yeah.
They want us to order 100 cars, they give us that color,
Oh,
a special order paint. So I would kind of held their ground, but they didn't give it to us, but.
Wow, 100 cars. They think you're from Hamden or something.
so
Yeah. We got it though, they look good, they're all lined up, they're starting to get work on now.
Yeah.
How many of them are there? Six?
There's 6 patrol Tahoes and there's 1 pickup truck Silverado for the canine unit. So, be good.
Are they at the station?
Yeah, they're all up on the side, they're starting to move out today. Sorry, June weekends.
And do they have the new logo, or they don't
We're
have?
actually gonna meet,
We're waiting.
computer science tomorrow. So, but we're probably gonna incorporate this into the back panel, back of the park.
You know, this is not a complete document. These are like more notes than anything else. So, let's see. So these would be, going to the Board of Finance. We do not know. Final surplus numbers, Leanne, do you wanna talk about surplus?
What we know so far is the revenue surplus. We did just finish in those numbers yesterday. The expenditure surplus won't be ready until probably 2 days before the Board of Finance meeting on the 28th, because we give everyone 3 weeks to get all their June 30 bills in. So for the revenue surplus, I can report on that. For the general government, we have a revenue surplus of 2,406,000, and that is primarily from the interest income from the building permits and what is the other one? Town clerk fees. And of course, we were over a little bit. We were 101, we collected 101% for taxes. So we made money in all those 3 areas. We're over a little bit too in our state revenues. We budgeted 525, they came in at 793. So as expected. And then the Board of Ed has 99, just under 100,000, 99,594 for special ed revenues that they keep, and they include that as part of their surplus.
So that brings total revenue surpluses to 2.5 million. We will also add expenditure surpluses for both the Board of Ed and the town, which we don't know what they are yet. I don't expect that we're gonna have a large expenditure surplus at the Board of Ed because
Or-
they're doing that $600,000 thing, so.
The $600,000 thing.
I don't know what it's called.
It's
Brand new.
2% set aside.
2%,
Well,
2%.
Yeah, I think I set aside, I don't know, it's our first time doing it.
First time, yes.
We have our rainy day fund is approximately 17.7. And to keep it approximately at 17.7, I'm recommending about 250,000 of the surplus immediately go towards our rainy day funds. And that's a recommendation that is made every year to keep it basically where it is. I don't know if you did the math on that.
I didn't do the math.
It's about 17.5%. It'll
Yeah,
end
it'll
up,
be about.
which is, as everybody knows, we got our upgrade recently, so they like where we are at. I don't know that there's any reason to go higher at this point, especially since we got the upgrade and now we're going out to the market. So, the first 250 will come off there. There's a couple other things I'm recommending. I'm gonna skip Saybrook Point for a minute. Jennifer has recommended $10,000 to do the launch of the municipal brand. So I was going to recommend that.
Is that like for merchandise, you know, and
No, it's not for
letterhead, and,
merchandise.
I mean, you know, like tangible goods, or is that for
Nope.
promotion?
It's for a variety of other items, which she sent me an email to that effect. So, hold on, let me find it.
No.
Cause we paid Miranda and all that, right? That's already been done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Um, you can't get a seat on. I'll get it for you.
It's a relatively small number. I'm just
It
wondering if,
is,
you
it's
know,
for a variety of things.
but it's not to replace letterhead, it's to.
I don't think so.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have it right here, it just won't load. I'll ask Jennifer to create what we would use the $10,000 for. And then, we have 20,000, I don't know that, I put 20,000 for human resource consulting. We have 30,000 in that account. I don't know that I'm not sure I'm gonna ultimately recommend this. I don't know that we need it at this point. Bill Claffey has recommended 42,000 to pave the back of the transfer station. Right now it's either not paved or he just.
And there's some,
He asked you-
ecological reasons too, I think that why he wants to do that. I can't remember what they are, but, he has about, right, as we speak, 44,000 surplus in the transfer station budget line items. That could change in the next couple of weeks, but that's pretty well done. So he wants to use that money to pave the back and the transfer station, and there was other reasons besides just paving it.
Yeah.
Something to do.
And, I want to continue to put some money into the invasive species because Lynette and Chris Costa are very active down, especially down at Saybrook Point, in trying to control the invasive species in our town parks. So that's 20,000. Leanne, I'd like Leanne to talk about the health benefit reserve.
Okay.
And
So, a few years ago, the Board of Finance approved a mechanism whereby at the end of every single fiscal year, we would, we start with at the beginning of every single fiscal year. We, in the finance area, budget for, health benefits, life insurance, dental, all, any type of benefit that's given to our employees. And the department heads do not budget that, we do, and we're consistent across all budgets. What happens is that throughout the course of the year, either positions are not filled or, we have a change of staff and somebody that might have had a single health plan now needs a family health plan, so it'll be more expensive. So at the end of the day, the department head has no control over the benefit choices that their employees make. And at the end of the year, there could be surplus in that account or a negative. And so, you know, in order to kind of make our budgeting process more stable, we said to the Board of Finance, at the end of the year, we will sweep all of the excess money that we didn't use into this account. Or if we have a department that has a deficit because of change of plan or whatever, we will put money back so that it's the department head doesn't affect their budget, the management of their budget. Now, as you all know, over the past several years, we have had at the police department very large turnover of staff and changing and understaffed positions, which caused that sweep to swell, basically is what happened there. So it's up to almost $550,000 in that benefit account now, and that's way too much. I suggested that maybe we keep $150,000 there. That's about 5 family plans per year, you know, give us a little bit of wiggle room for budgeting purposes. And the rest of it can be transferred to some other place that is needed.
So I was going to recommend that 50, we have an account where I've been putting it off budget. We have an engineering budget that is about $120,000, and that is for design of a lot of projects that we do before we might apply for a grant, or if it just needs to be done. Where the money really goes out the door is when they do construction administration, because Jacobson's office frequently sits at these projects or is there for a good part of the day on Route 1, on Main Street, on wherever they are, to make sure the job is being done the way it's supposed to be done. That's how they operate, and that can get very expensive very quickly. So over the years, we've developed a grant-related engineering account, and it has come in very handy. And we have about $55,000 in it remaining. I'm recommending that from this health benefit reserve, we put another 50 in, so there's 100 there. We're gonna have Ferry Road coming up. You know, there's always projects that Jacobson is doing construction administration on. So I'm recommending that we take, boost that account from where it is now and add another 50. And then I was going to recommend that we take the other 350 from the health benefit reserve and put it into our long-term liability account. And when we talk about bonding 11.5 million, we want to make sure that we have the funds to keep our debt service level so that we don't have a spike in there. And that account can be used at the end of the day for a variety of things, not only debt service, but if our pension fund needs additional funds at any point in the future. So this was something Leanne came to me with a little while ago and said, I think this account's gotten too big. So that money does not come from surplus, it comes from another account. And then let me just run through the rest of it.
You mean the health benefit reserve?
Yeah,
Is that
the
what you're
health-
saying? When you say it comes from another account, it comes from
It
the health
comes from the health benefit reserve, it's really just a transfer. Bill Claffey has mentioned to us that the Freightliner new trucks, he bought 2 new trucks recently, right? Large trucks. He'd like to replace one more that is 25 years old. It's the last of the old trucks. The new Freightliners that they're gonna be building in 27 have different computer equipment on it. So he was hoping to get another one now so that all 3 are the same, that he can operate. And when they need to be fixed and the guys can use them, it's all the same. That truck is $288,000, $390. So he is asking for that, and I included it in surplus. I'm this would, eventually, it's just goes to the board of finance and town meeting. So, Bill has requested that, and then I threw in another 15,000 for two more big belly trash receptacles, because they seem to be quite popular, to be honest with you, and going over quite well in the community. If we did all of it, if we, from the setting aside 250,000 for our reserves, 200 rainy day account, and we put $1 million aside for Saybrook Point, in the surplus, it still leaves about $700,000 that we could either let fall to the bottom line, which would go into our rainy day fund, or what I would recommend is that the Board of Finance put that in our capital non-recurring account, because we always have projects, always. And we're always taking from that account during the year, and you never know what's gonna happen. I mean, the police station may need new air conditioning units on the roof,
Radios.
or what?
Radio,
Radio tower.
A radio tower. I'm hoping that you will be able to find at least some grant money for that radio tower also
That's
at some point. But exactly like that. I mean, so that's a big number. I don't know if you have an estimate on that. I know you have met with some vendors recently.
We have one or two, 600,000 so far, is what, to get us on a preventative maintenance plan.
Wait, say that, I can't hear you.
600,000 roughly. And
Okay,
that gets us all the repairs we need to get done. And it'll put us in a position where we can get on an annual preventative maintenance plan where it's warranted.
but that's for a tower?
That's for all of the upgrades at all the towers. It's,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
you
It's to
get-
bring the infrastructure up to a level,
Okay.
and then a company would
Okay.
agree to be servicing it.
So the
Okay.
towers actually passed. All the towers,
Right.
actually, we got
So-
a good bill of health.
There's a good example of why we would probably dump the rest into capital non-recurring, and then when you come to us, we'll have that money available in addition. Jake,
Nice point, I don't think the public realizes it, it comes up all the time, but, you know, you're talking about bonding and how we're trying to keep bonding level, and sometimes it goes down and everything. But Old Saybrook's core thing is that we pay cash for a lot of things that other towns bond.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, they might bond, you know, a million for this or whatever, and the reason I just think it's important to mention that our tax rate tends to stay consistently below all of our neighbors, because we fiscally pay cash, save, prepare, and pay cash for things that other towns don't.
yeah. Arguments, and I'm all for that, and that's been demonstrated over 15 years, but there's also the other argument that these are 20-year projects.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're generational, and therefore they should be bonded, because they should be,
Big things, yes.
Yeah.
But like things like.
yeah, but 600,000 shouldn't be, I mean, if we don't have to bond that,
But when you put them all together and then go out to a bond or bundle them,
yeah.
fire trucks, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, we've been, yeah, so, yeah, we've used different financing models,
Absolutely.
cash bonding and then borrowing from ourselves.
Right.
And paying back through capital accounts, so,
I
You
guess
know-
yeah,
Yeah, go
my question is, I'm not sure where we stand with the Clark Park, development and,
Yeah.
what, when is that gonna be?
Yeah.
A priority,
it's,
or,
I'm honestly, that is between Ray and Jeff. As far as I know,
Ray and,
Ray Allen and
Yeah.
Jeff Jacobson.
Okay.
I'm waiting too, to be honest with you. That is not something I'm putting the kibosh on. I'm waiting for that design.
I mean, I know they did a bunch of testing already, so.
They've done a bunch of designing.
In the designing and,
And so again, I think putting some funds, even if we put 750 down there and add another 250 to the bottom line here, that goes into capital non-recurring. If that's 600, our capital non-recurring account is over $2 million.
right,
It's about 2 million. So, I know Park and Rec is gonna have at least probably about $1 million saved in their account. Certainly, it is a way.
that's from the revenue,
Yeah.
side, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in their reserve account, so there is money to commence a project there. One other thing that will be happening at some point is a steep grant will be coming out. Okay, steep grants are now up to $1 million. whether that goes towards Clark Park, whether it goes towards Saybrook Point, I mean, they're competing.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough that we weren't able to get Clark done before we got this amazing opportunity. That's just the way it
I don't
happens,
know
you
why.
know?
I don't,
Okay.
I don't know where that project is. I mean, I can ask Jeff when I go back to the office. Ray presumably is on them to move that along.
Mhm.
Let's just say that we're putting $1 million down there. We have $1 million saved for Clark Park. If we need to take $1 million to finish Clark Park and put $2 million there, we can do that.
Mhm.
We're.
And
that's
not
our-
delay anything at.
At
the
Saybrook Point.
Yeah,
I mean, so
exactly.
these projects can be done. I'm quite confident of that.
Yeah.
All right, so I haven't brought these necessarily recommendations for a vote in the past. I mean, these are something that is, you know, we bring to the Board of Finance. But if you want, I don't know how you feel about the,
I mean, I think all these things are great. You know, and as we start talking more and more, and the town's gonna get really excited about what's happening at Saybrook Point. Just don't wanna forget some of the other things that just, I think it's been going on for so long, people have forgotten about it. But as a
I
resident
forgot
up
about
in
it
that.
until you mentioned it. I almost did. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's one that's near and dear to my heart. I mean, for people who live off Schoolhouse Road and the families there and, you know, not having a playground. A usable playground in a picnic area. I've lived there almost, 27 years and, it's tough to swallow.
I'll make a note of it, and
yeah.
I'll ask Ray and Jeff when I leave the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe an upcoming Board of Selectmen meeting, they can
Yeah.
come and give us an update.
It does seem to slip every year, and I don't know why. So with regard to the 250 that will go to the rainy day reserves, do you have a preference? So if there's $1 million designated to Saybrook Point, that would leave $704,000 to ultimately go into the capital non-recurring fund for future projects.
Okay.
If we did everything here.
Mhm.
And where I said appropriate $750,000 to Saybrook Point,
Mhm.
if that were boosted to $1 million.
Mhm.
Like we did last year with the Public Works Garage at 1.5. But if we boosted that to 1 million and did everything else on this list, it would still leave $704,000 that we would ultimately recommend to the Board of Finance to go into the capital non-recurring fund. And then when the chief comes to us and you have a need with the tower, there's 2 million in that account, or about, right?
Yeah, there will be 2 million.
No,
There
there
is
is.
now, so that'd be 2.7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are sufficient funds to do these projects. And if Clark Park is ready for construction next year, mini golf by that point will have probably 1.2 million in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
It's like, so it's not like that fund goes away. And, if you got to a point where whatever the number on that project was, if you needed to fund it through that account for 2 years, you could
Yeah.
do it. So,
I just don't know what we need to get, the way the libraries move forward, the way the, the DPW garages move forward, do we need, we need to champion, I think we need to champion Clark Park,
then,
so
then let's do it.
let's do it.
I mean, no objection here. I've been hearing about it for 3 years. So.
Great.
So with your approval, Jane, in a vote here, I'll just put these, there's 9 of them. And 10, if we put 250, we need to make that motion?
No,
No, we don't,
we
because
just
that
leave,
just falls.
leave it alone, yeah.
Yeah, that just falls.
Yeah.
So actually, it's just these 9 that are on this list. Again, this is an incomplete memo. I will.
That's like, I didn't get it, so it's all right.
Yeah.
What's the date on it?
No,
Yeah, the
there's-
date is already August 1st. It's not even.
That's what I mean,
Yeah.
it's, I've been. It's just been something I've been making a note of, so. If you're good with this, I'll make a motion to recommend it to the Board of Finance when we finally have a surplus number.
And I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright. So we'll get that to you eventually, George.
Thank you.
Alright, George has a preview of all this.
I have a question.
What?
I have a question.
Yeah,
It's not my meeting, so I'm not sure about the proof.
it's a casual crowd.
When are you planning to present this to the Board of Finance? Because the 28th is already doing the bond thing.
Well, the 28th, I was planning on doing it on the 28th.
So this and the bond thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have to have that on the agenda?
Have what?
The surplus recommendation. So my plan was to, and it's all preliminary. So what happens is after we do the main things, the main items that are approved, then in September, after we are pretty much closed, then we do the capital non-recurring with whatever is left over or wherever you wanted it to go to. So there's two memos that go forth to the Board of Finance.
So on July 28th, are you saying they would take these recommendations?
Correct. They don't have to vote on them
Yeah.
that night if they don't want to, but the idea was to get them in front of you so that you could see, and I'll have preliminary results for the expenditure side.
Yeah, you can just listen that night and,
But you guys are willing to take questions that night for these?
Yes.
Okay.
I think, I mean, yeah, we'll entertain questions.
And then,
Yeah.
and then you guys also plan to present the bonding proposal tonight as well?
yep. Yeah, that's not overly complicated. I mean, it isn't, it's a big number, but it's not
It is.
complicated. There may be questions and I think that you should have representatives from the Cape and certainly, maybe I'll even have Greg Nucci at that meeting to answer questions.
And then, the usual finance director and treasurer director reports as well?
Correct.
Okay.
It's been nice not having Board of Finance meetings, I have to say.
It is. But it's packing up.
Nah,
Okay.
all right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.